Sup everyone, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be covering a couple things here. It's not just going to be one overall big topic discussion. No. There's quite a bit we need to get through here. We got the desert mechanic, or the lack thereof. We got the Hoyoverse vision for their general gameplay design, which ties into the whole desert mechanic, which I'm gonna have to tie back to Dragon's Spine as well. That's gonna be pretty interesting. Personally, I think that's pretty interesting. And then there's the first impression for Cyno's gameplay, although I haven't fully maxed him out, you know, level 90 for both him and the weapons and everything like that, but work in progress. The scarabs are just they're gonna be the end of me if I do this to myself. Like, finding a scarab right now in the desert just feels like finding an oasis. Anyways, we're also going to be talking about how I've been enjoying patch 3.1 so far. I know it's only been out for a couple of days, but just there's so much to explore and to experience that honestly I feel quite overloaded. I've been playing some other games prior to these patches, and I'm finding more and more difficulty keeping up in all of the games I'm playing, so I'm devoting a lot more time to Genshin, more like an hour to 2 hours every day nowadays, as opposed to the 30 minutes that I've been giving it previously, sometimes less. Okay, and there's going to be other things, topics sprinkled in between. Some of these things are just too small to make their own videos, so I'm just going to cram them in here because I still think they're worth talking about, but not worth making an entire video. All right, so with all that said, let's start with the most interesting thing. Is that, look, this desert truly feels expansive but barren at the same time. Like, I'm no, I don't mean it in a bad way. I'm not saying like, oh, there's nothing here to know. There's quite a bit. You know, every now and then you'll come across some of these weird little things that can take you off on a tangent, and personally that's how I want to play my game. I don't like it when the devs point you in a direction. It's like, you can only do this, go in that direction, follow this exact path, and head to the end goal, which is over there. I don't like that. I really like going on little adventures, and in fact, I was talking about the scarabs, right? Like hunting for Cyno's little ascension thing. I have Tignari to lead the way, and you'll see like there's this little symbol that appears on screen, and then I have to run towards it, but I don't know what it is. But when I get there, I'll realize if it's the thing that I'm looking for, which is the scarab, or it's gonna be the freaking flower on the cactus plant. For a desert, I've come to realize there's an awful lot of flowers that are flourishing over out here. Maybe it's not as barren as we thought it was. But anyways, the lack of some sort of desert mechanics, I don't know. I feel like it's a breath of fresh air in the sense that I was really hoping we don't get some sort of weird mechanic such as like a heat stroke mechanic. If you guys recall back to Dragon's Spine, right? That place was just horrendous for me to kind of navigate through, because you always had to have a pyro character on your team, or you have to find a way to light these torches to keep yourself warm, or you have to activate this mechanic thing, this totem or whatever, and when you're within the range of that, you were warmed up and you don't end up losing health and all that stuff. I get it, all right, but when it comes to the Sumerian desert, I do think Hoyoverse took that similar concept, meaning like they want us to feel immersed within the space. They want us to feel like we're actually there, but I think the Dragon's Spine thing was just overdoing it a little bit. I think the first time I interacted with that mechanic, it was like, oh, that's cool. Okay, I need to do this. I need to make sure that, okay, balancing this. Okay, I feel like I'm doing quite a bit here. But once you're like in there for a couple days, at that point, like you're like going through the main story, or you're like trying to get something done, or you got a commission in there. It just feels like, man, like it's such a drag to go through all that stuff, and the mechanic didn't add to the general experience of spending time in Dragon's Spine, which at the end of the day, I think Hoyoverse figured out a better way to make us feel immersed. Like, for example, they actually highlighted the mechanic that's in the desert, which they spent a lot of time on, and that is the footprint mechanic. You guys might think I'm memeing, but I think it's the little details compounded together that makes a great product. Personally, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you guys the footprints, man, like that's a game changer. No, it's the footprints, it's the music, it's the atmosphere, it's all of this stuff combined that makes it feel like I'm actually there, right? And throw in the lack of scarabs that I'm fighting, that I'm really just dying out here looking for scarabs. You're gonna hear me talk about this a lot, okay? And I'm like, oh, why don't you just search up a guide and, you know, they'll tell you where all this stuff is. Bro, I'm not gonna judge how you play the game, but I don't want someone to tell me how to play the freaking game. I have to go here, go here. What did I say in the very beginning of the video? Like, I hate it when he was like, go here, go here, go here, go here, and you got your job. No, I'm gonna do it on my own. I'll have to beg my viewers to let me into their world if I have to, but I will not be looking up guides. This is the same reason why I don't look up guides for finishing puzzles or like doing all this stuff. The only thing I look at videos for are lores, but that's a whole different video altogether, because I find that at times Genshin lore is just tied behind some very convoluted and not so fun tasks that you have to, like the dialogues and stuff. So, you know, I would like to skip that. But exploration, dude, you get this once a year. I would like to enjoy this. Okay, so talking about exploration 3.1, how's it going? All right, what is happening in patch 3.1? I think patch 3.1 so far, with the introduction of the desert, it's quite a lot to take in. I'm like completely blown away just by the general aesthetics of it. I think they did it really, really well. There's a level of ancient mystery mixed in with like mystique. I mean, just look at the scene on screen right now. Cyno's backdrop, like a upside down pyramid, like in the sky, like absorbing some sort of energy into it. And on the right side of the screen, you have a freaking dust tornado that's just raging on in the background. Like these are all things that I eventually want to get to the bottom of. Like this stuff piques my interest. I do have to say, Sumeru is far more exciting than Inazuma. When I first got to Inazuma, it's like we already had a lot of setup when it comes to what kind of region it is, like an isolated place, and in many ways I've been exposed to Japanese culture quite a bit with my upbringing and whatnot, that it didn't have that level of mystery. And due to HoYoverse drawing so much inspiration from Japan, right, that culture, so a lot of that stuff didn't come as a shock. But stuff like this, I'm not saying this is going to be fully accurate to Egyptian history or culture, but there is a sense of me being exposed to new things and learning and just finding out rich backstories, I guess, in some cases when it comes to this stuff. Okay, but that's not what all 3.1 is about. We have to talk about the main content, the main content for all of HoYoverse patches, right? Every single patch revolves around this content, the characters. If you sit here and tell me that 70 to 80% of the game doesn't revolve around HoYoverse as characters, you are actually straight capping. But, you know, you might say like, dude, man, I play this game for the teapot, or I play this game solely for its fishing features. Like, I don't do anything else. Hey, you do you, my man. But we have to talk about Cyno. Here's the thing I found with Cyno, okay? It's kind of difficult to pair him in a very good team right now. And I've tried a couple different variations, and none of them felt good. And the main reason, I'll tell you right now, the main reason is he's designed to work with Dendro, but there's no good off-field Dendro characters. I mean, there are decent ones, but if you want to fully take advantage of Cyno's burst skill, the duration and its knockback, and like how much he actually moves around, and how, you need either a much wider or larger area of effect for Dendro, or B, a Dendro area of effect that follows your character, kind of like Goro. But right now it's non-existent. It's not possible, and it makes it so that I'm kind of like on the fence about just playing him with Electro Charge, but playing with Electro Charge just doesn't feel as good, man. Like, yes, the reaction can exist, but for the most part, you're just using Cyno and layering damage with like Yelan, which, you know, it's fine, but it just feels like it's not what the character was designed for. And I know a lot of people right now are going to give Cyno, they're going to be too scared to say it, but like, he's not that good right now. And that's because of the lack of a good Dendro applicator, an off-field Dendro applicator that could hopefully buff some EM for him as well. Gee golly, I wonder what character can do that. I don't know, man. Like, really scratching my head here. Honestly, I'm probably gonna have to look towards the future. If you want to play a good Cyno team, I'm just saying, you're not gonna find it here. Not this patch. I'm gonna make a separate video kind of fully covering Cyno, but that's just like my first impression here. Like, he's a fun character, don't get me wrong. Like, I've had more fun with Cyno than I've had with most, if not all, of the characters since, I want to say, Hu Tao. Like, I honestly do want to say Hu Tao's release back all the way in 1.3. But man, his teams right now just feel so lackluster. Very difficult to make him feel as powerful as he looks. Okay, so that's what I have to say. in regards to Cyno. But a couple other things I want to address for people who are out there who are still grumbling and complaining like, oh, more of the same old. Like I get it, right? There's nothing new here really that we've never ever seen before. Getting a new zone to explore that for the most part, once you're done here and the characters eventually move on to Fontaine, Natlin, and all that stuff, it's going to be very difficult for us to come back. But I think it's important that we live in the moment. Don't think far into the future, oh, like 2 years from now, I'm never going to be. Yeah, but what about now, right? Like right now you're here. Like I know we're coping. This is coping, right? I'm not here to sell you guys a dream. I'm not here to try to say this is good, it's permanent. Oh, HoYoVerse is different now. It's changed. There's mechanics. I know there isn't, but at least in the moment, like, can we just enjoy what we have right now? Like, as opposed to worrying about things that hasn't even happened yet. I mean, I might come back here in the future. Who knows? Because it doesn't have a heat stroke mechanic that makes me want to pull my hair out, like with Dragonspine. At the end of the day, I think HoYoVerse is actually getting better at optimizing their gameplay and overall design for us to explore zones. I hope, like, I mean, I haven't interacted with many, but I hope the puzzles here aren't just like absolutely crazy. But then again, you know, the nation of knowledge, right? They just really test your IQs out here. But no, I will say this till the day I quit this game. I will not look up a single guide. If I have to sit through like freaking 3 patches to solve one puzzle, I will do it. I can elicit help from chat though, so we'll see about that. With all that said, these are the things that I wanted to talk about. What do you guys think? Do you guys think the lack of a heat stroke mechanic is a good thing or a bad thing? Do you guys think HoYoVerse has been improving their overall gameplay design to make it more and more comforting and optimized for just general casual experience, not to go too crazy? Or do you guys think it's the opposite? Do you guys think they've gotten worse at designing the game? Like, do you think they did a better job back in 1.0, for example, right? What are your thoughts on Cyno if you pulled him, or if you've watched videos about him? What are other people saying, right? How have you been enjoying 3.1? These are all questions that I want answers to, and we're going to be talking about some of this stuff on Saturday's live stream, so make sure that you're there. All right, until then, urge you all to stay safe. Peace, thanks for tuning in, and bye.